Hi everybody, I'm Bree the Plant Lady, and by the looks of it, maybe we're gonna get a storm, which would be so awesome, because it's like 1,000,000,000 degrees right now, and it's very dry. But I'm checking in because I've made a decision. I'm gonna go ahead and cut this cut plant back. I've been reading a lot about it, and I appreciate that it's a great plant to grow from seed. However, I don't want all of that seed to germinate in this garden, because that seems like it will end up causing me an incredible amount of maintenance. So I've made the decision that I'm gonna go ahead and cut it down. I'm gonna save some of the seed to be able to share with others. I'd like to grow more of it, but I'd rather grow it on my own terms than have it grow on its own terms. So I'm just real quick gonna make 3 big snips. So my normal hand pruners aren't big enough. I need to either get loppers or a saw. It's pretty substantial. Okay, try number 2, using large still loppers. And it's a lot of seed falling off. I'm trying to be careful with it. Oh boy. Yep. I probably should have done this a week ago. It's really heavy. Well, hopefully I only got a few hundred and not a few 100,000 seeds to drop into the garden. You know, it's really funny. Most of the summer, what I coveted about this was its height, and all of a sudden I'm so happy to see it not be the main dominant force. And just to show you how the native gardens have evolved over the past week, it's really an amazing and I think very inspiring transition. Because a month ago, I was at my wit's end. I just thought these were the ugliest things ever. But now that, you know, the Monarda punctata is starting to bloom, pollinators love it. I trimmed it way back, and that's made a big difference because it kind of has an unruly habit if you don't do anything to it. This combination of Solidago, Solar Cascade, and Rudbeckia triloba is really beautiful, and it should be probably a 4 to 6 week long bloom cycle. I'm trying my best to keep everything watered because it's been really hot and dry. You can see the berries on the Ilex deciduous are starting to color up, and the Rudbeckia maxima is putting out new blooms. I love the Verbena bonariensis, which is a South American native, so not exactly native, but still. And then all these Rudbeckias and Echinaceas. It's just really nice to see so much color in the garden. You've got that Allium serum that's blooming along the edge, and some really interesting Schizacharium. I think this one is called Chameleon, with the furry stems. And you can see the Panicum has started to go into its flowering cycle, and I think this view with the Panicum and all that Verbena bonariensis looks really nice. And then over in this bed, the Salvia azurea, as you can see, favored by bees. And then Rudbeckia subtomentosa Henry Eilers, which is such a cool plant with the quilled petals. It's also really nice in floating arrangements. I'm excited to see how these borders will keep on growing, because I think this border in particular, once the shrubs get a little taller, there'll be a better differential between that Carex ground plane and everything else, and it'll start to look a little more on purpose. Right now, it looks still a little unravelly to me, but now that there's things blooming, that makes a really big difference. Well, I hope this quick, fingers crossed, pre-storm native garden update will be useful for you. I do think that it's totally fair when growing these native plants to recognize their seeding habits, and then if you don't want them to seed profusely, cut them off, ideally before the seed is completely ripe, because that will actually stop the cycle entirely. And that's really the easiest, lowest maintenance way to manage plants that might become overwhelmingly seedy, like I think the Silphium could potentially do. Doesn't mean that you have to waste them. I'm definitely going to collect a whole bunch of seed because I probably have 100,000 off of this plant. And well, I can grow some out so that I can plant some in additional borders, and I can offer it for sale maybe next year if I do a native seed sale. So as always, thanks so much for watching, and happy gardening.